Nerdtectives, we're back. But before we get into it, let's cut to a clip.
One murder in 30 years? 4? Oh, honey, I'm not gonna lie to you. 4 is a lot of murders.
Welcome back, Nerdtectives. It has been entirely too long. How is everyone doing out in podcast land? I've missed y'all. How are y'all doing? Hopefully, I've seen you on the channel. You've seen the channel. But if you haven't, and I haven't seen you since last year, since last year, Jesus Christ, man. Been such a long time. It's great to see your shining face. I hope you're doing amazing. Tell me all about how you're doing in the comments. I missed interacting with all of y'all, and I'm so excited that the show is back. But wait. What are we talking about? Well, clearly, if you're here, we're talking all about... Oh, man, I'm so excited that the season has started. We're 3 episodes deep. And I'm just going to tell you, as somebody, the content creator, right? As the content creator in me, I hate that we have 3 episodes because it's so difficult to go through. And it's difficult enough going through one episode, going through every line. You're trying to figure out in your head the theories, suspects, looking for clues. Times that by 3, right? But as a fan, I'm so excited that we got 3 episodes because I'm like, yes, I want more. We've gotten so much. And it felt right with the episodes that we're given because it takes us through different stages into this investigation already. We're kind of thrown in the past a little bit. We're given some backstory. So it makes sense why we got all 3 at once. But I'm just saying, again, this is coming out on a Friday. Usually I like to have these out on Thursday, but how about y'all guys let me know? Would you rather prefer these on a Thursday or Friday? Just let me know in the comments, probably sooner rather than later. But I know there are other podcasts, other YouTube channels that you listen to. We'll get into that probably a little bit later because there's some, I listen to all of them. I'm a fan first and a creator second. And I don't hate at all on any of the channels that are doing content around only murders. Probably, in fact, I've interacted with a few. Again, we'll talk about all that later. But right now, man, I'm so excited to really dig into this episode and really dig into some clues. Usually what we do right now, right? We do the recaps and then we'll get into the clues and we'll get into your comments and then the suspect board, which I don't know about y'all, but I have missed me some suspect board in my life. So excited to be touching on that. But instead of doing the recap this episode, because it's that's a lot. That's just a lot. Let's just pretend we all know, we all watched these 3 episodes. I'm going to pretend that you watched it and you kind of remember and you've listened to some other people talk about. This is fresh enough on your mind that I don't think I need to go through a recap, but we're going to hop right into the clues, but we're going to take it episode by episode. So at least we're kind of going in some sort of an order. So at least you're, oh yeah, that's right, that happened. And oh yeah, that happened. So at least we'll do that for this episode. But going forward, right, make sure we do the recaps before we get into the clues, just in case, it had been a day or two, maybe then you'd watched it. You don't watch them 6, 7, 8 times like I do to try and gather everything. You probably watch them once or twice like a normal human being. And I don't blame you. As a fan of the show, when I watched the first few seasons, I only watched them once, maybe twice. But I was having to catch up with the end of season 3. That's when I got into this. So all that to say, we're going to hop right into the clues from this part. But before we do, just want to shout out, go ahead and feel free to click like, subscribe, and follow if you're not already. If you are, chef's kiss. Thank you so much. If you're a repeat fan from the previous season, again, I'm so excited we're here. I'm so excited we're gathered. I'm so excited we're doing this again. And I like to be the world's most okayest detective. I like to try and find every single clue that I can find. So for right now, let's hop right into the clues. In episode 1, whose finger is this? And why is there green felt on the finger? I know later we figure out that the green felt is from the casino table, but Why is it there? Like, what's going on? Number 2, Lester's hat comes up as mentioned by Lorraine. It also comes up again later in the episode, but that time when she mentioned it was bloodied and the rest of the suit wasn't, like, why wasn't the hat with this? Like, I wonder if there's something going on with the hat that we need to pay attention to. Number 3, the Mayor Tillman appearance. Like, what is he really there for? Next, we see the ledger that's given to Randall, the new doorman, by Lorraine, and she says, "My husband was nothing if not thorough." So that begs the question, what answers are hiding in the ledger that we need to solve this case? Another question is, why is Nicky the Neck hanging around the wedding? And where did he go afterwards? Because the wedding is the last place he was sighted at so far. I know he does his business in the Arconia, right? But like, hanging around at that time, like, what are you doing there, fella? You know, and why are you passing out money outside, right? Like, if people could see, I don't know. I just have a lot of questions around that. Another clue is Mrs. Cacciamilio says her business is hanging by a thread and she may lose the house. Is this true? Are we going to believe her so far? Like, do we trust her that much just yet, as much as I'd say Charles does or wants to? I don't know. We need to keep an eye on that, though, I think. Also, Mrs. Cacciamilio gives Charles some cards. Now, were these Nicky's personal deck of cards, or did he give these to new people who he wanted to play at the underground casino? See, it's interesting because he wouldn't need a map if they were his cards, because he literally knows where the open door is for the casino. So who are these cards for? And who else has them? Another interesting note is, why is Lester's suit taken to the cleaners and not his hat? Again, we're back to the hat, and I think there's something really important about it. Also, why is Nicky's body in the laundromat, and why does it need to be found there, of all places? And the last clue from episode 1 is, why do the numbers on the back of the card open the roulette drawer? Who else would know that exists besides Nicky and anyone else with a deck of cards? Also, why does the money envelope have blood stains on it? Let's get to some clues from episode 2. Just a real quick note. How old is Lester? Because he said he was born in 48, but he started working at the Arconia in the 90s. And then he says he's been working there for 32 years, but he didn't look like he was 50 when he started working there. I don't know. I'm just pointing that out. But I think that they're already messing up with some timelines in the show. But let's get back to the clues. Who is actually shooting a documentary on the doorman? What's the payoff with the elevator crank? We see the crank focused in on multiple times, and we also know Lester drops it running from someone. Also, we see he dies at night and he's chased. So who is he running from? The ledger comes back to play in this episode as we see he receives it as a young doorman. So obviously this is something we should definitely focus on. There's another interesting line about the elevator crank when Nicky says, "You gonna hit me with that?" And then later we see Lester using the crank as a weapon to shoot people away from the outside. So again, I think the show really wants us to focus on that crank as a potential weapon. Another interesting clue is we see Thee being friends with Tim Kono and Mabel when they were younger, but why does this matter? Another potential clue is when Randall's getting hired on, he says he plays the upright bass. Perhaps he's played in the casino if they've had a band. Another interesting note is the murder of Lester's labeled as an accidental death by the cops. That seems weird, especially as we see in flashbacks, Lester's clearly running from somebody, which would indicate to us it's probably not an accident. And then our final clue from episode 2 is, who was Lester running from in such a hurry that he would drop the elevator crank? Additionally, what was he grabbing in the water? And also, who took the elevator crank from the scene of the crime? And finally, let's dig into some clues from episode 3. In the beginning of the episode, throughout the story that Charles tells about the Arconia and the casino, it's implied that city officials frequented the casino. So I think we can safely assume that currently the mayor probably goes there. Our next clue is, who would stab Nicky with a knife? Also, let's note it's a cleaver knife, so likely it's from a kitchen where we can assume the finger was likely stored with the shrimps. Is this also maybe where Nicky was stored? An interesting clue is, why would the green felt from the casino table be in the nails of Nicky and the solo finger that the trio finds? Let's move on to the autopsy of Nicky's body. It's found that Nicky's body has rope marks on his hands and his feet. Additionally, he has freezer burn, and there's possible white paint on Nicky's sleeve. And just when we thought we were done, the crew finds a piece of paper from Lester's ledger in Nicky's mouth. What actually happened to him, and could one person overpower him, kill him with a knife, and drag him with a rope? Or would it take two people? Let's next ask, what's up with the cops who are trying to set up Nicky's body? Who could control them or pay them off? Maybe the mob, or maybe the mayor? And if they're being crooked about Nicky's case, could they also be being crooked about the Lester case? The next question I have is, What's the story behind Mabel and Thee from the past? And how could it tie into the 2 current murders? Another clue that we're unsure of is who are the people that Lester are referencing as bird names in the ledger, and what were the amounts in reference to? Now, this may be a potential clue, but what was Randall doing in the closet? Was he having a nervous breakdown? The next clue is what are the billionaires doing in the casino? Also, we see Jay Flug is missing part of his finger, but his injury looks too short to be the solo finger the trio has found. So what happened to him? So that's all the clues I got for right now, but let me know in the comments, were there any clues that you caught that I might have missed? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. I really want to wrap my head around anything that could be potentially going on that I'm not quite thinking about. When we put our heads together, we're smarter together than just little old me. And again, I'm just the world's most okayest detective. So sometimes there's some things I won't catch. And then sometimes there are some things I do catch, like y'all's comments. So let's hop right into some comments. And these are all comments from the season 5 trailer that me and Ivan from Filmer Do 24, y'all go follow him because he's going to be breaking down some Only Murder stuff. But we broke down the trailer and y'all wrote some fun comments. So let's go ahead and read those right now. Our first comment is from @the_pink_purples. They say, a casino theme is so cool. Quote, the house always wins. Indeed, the house does always win. But in this case, let's see if our trio can win. Let's see if our trio has any luck in the house. Our next comment comes in from Hans Gruber fan. Love Martin Short. I missed the last couple seasons. Got to get back to it. Awesome review. Hans Gruber fan, thank you so much. I know you're a fan of the channel. I've seen you comment on a lot of videos, so it's always a pleasure to hear from you. Next comment comes in from Max Rebo 411. I still think Joy was poisoning Charles in season 3, hence why he kept going to the White Room. Plus, notice how he no longer has his nosebleeds. I think there could be a twist this season where it's revealed Joy had been watching and stalking Charles. She was the one who left the note on Jan's door as a warning that he belonged to her. That's a hot take. That's a real hot take right there. I would be interested in seeing something like that. I would really be interested in seeing something like that. I don't know if that's the direction that they're going to go with, because it seems like they don't like to, so far what I've seen, they don't like to tie in, and this could be the season where they do it, but I was just maybe it's just me as a hurt fan being disappointed from the last season that they didn't tie up enough loose ends for me that I think that they'd ever do it again. That would be really interesting if they revisit it. Let's keep an eye out. We've got 7 episodes, so anything could go. I don't know if that's the direction that they'll go, but I don't know. Crazier things have happened. The whole Marshall thing last season, that was a little wild. So we'll see. Our next comment comes in from Elisa James 2973. How dope would it be if the Arconia connected to the casino via tunnel through the catacombs? Elisa James 2973. Are you a writer for the show? Do you work on the show? Because that's exactly what happened. I think I alluded to something like that. Like there's an underground casino. I don't think I alluded to in the breakdown. I mean, I don't think I alluded to it's connected to it, but I alluded to maybe there's some sort of underground casino they have to go find. But you hit the nail right on the head. Yeah, it's completely connected. And there's a lot of story to be had with this. So great call right there. Our next comment comes in from Double P Media. Nerds at Night. Let's go. Season 5. Y'all go follow Double P Media. He is one of my favorite channels that breaks down murder mysteries, and specifically murder mystery shows. And this show in particular, his show was one of the first ones, just to give you a little anecdote real quick, that I watched as I watched the first 3 seasons. And when I watched the first 3 seasons, I think season 3 came out as my son was born, or the end of it was coming out. So he was born November 14th, 2023. And so I think I was like, I'll watch this. I like murder mysteries. I had heard good things. And I wanted to watch like videos. Maybe it got into season 2 of like, are people talking about this show? And Double P's channel was one of the first ones that really inspired me to do what I do, to do it the way that I do it. You know, he's got certain murder mystery swag that I'm just like, man, like this guy knows his shit. Like, again, I'm the world's most okayest detective. This guy's good. This guy's good. So everybody go follow Double P, and hopefully, let's fingers cross it, y'all. I'm a huge fan of his show. I watch it, every time it releases an episode, probably like many of y'all. And if you're not, I think you'll really love it. But hopefully we will have him on. My thought is to have him on maybe after episode 8, so that way we have 2 episodes, because they usually by episode 9 you're like, oh shit, this is who it is. But before episode 9, I want to have him on so that way we can try to predict what's going to happen and who the killer could be, because he's really good at figuring things out like that. And that would be a dream of mine to have him on. So shout out to Double B. Oh, I know this name from last season. Sherry 7054. So why are they in Vegas or Atlantic City? Don't get the connection to the laundry killer and how that relates to Lester. Well, they're not in Atlantic City or Vegas. Turns out they're still in the Arconia. They didn't even leave New York. And I think this episode really helped drive home the point of the laundry killer and how it relates to Lester, right? Like, or at least a little bit more, right? That Nikki the Neck owned it and it's paying off Lester. The laundromat's next door, but the casino's underground. The connections are starting, I think, to get a little less hazy. Let's see how the season turns out if we get more connections, or we can start to see the thread unravel a little bit more. Our next comment comes in from Animals Are Cute 5762. What if Lester is her husband? She said he was missing. She never said how long. What if he assumed another identity in life? If he was taking on another personality or life, he could keep a low profile with a job like that. I think that's an interesting theory, and I think we kind of alluded to that in the breakdown, like a little bit, not quite like that, and maybe we even alluded to it when me and Ivan from Film Dude 24, when we did the last episode, the last sort of season 5 recap episode where we just kind of talked about the whole season. I think we kind of maybe were like, well, what if we don't really know about Lester's background? It would have been cool to explore it. Lester is a little bit older, but it could work, it could work. But that ended up not being the case. But we did find out who her husband was, and that he also was missing and why he was missing. So I think we got that answer a little bit more carved out after just watching the trailer. Next comment comes in from 117 Derek. That's a name we're very familiar with here. I'm so glad you're back. I can't wait for season 5 to begin with 2 episodes. We got 3, my friend. Isn't that awesome? I agree with you. I hope we get more answers for season 4 as part of this new season, especially the Dudenoff mystery that I still believe was a murder. As for this year's crazy wild-ass guess, before the season begins, I'm going to go with Richard Klein. Okay. I think he may be the series-long big bad. Season 4 was the first time we were introduced to the Westies, so he could have been stalking the trio this whole time. My biggest fear is that the show creators will come up with a lame reason for his motive. Let the season begin. Yeah, Richard Kind. Yeah, that's who you're talking about, who played Stink Eye Joe, or I forget his name. But yeah, the Westie, with the pink eye, right? Pink Eye Joe. That's who it was. It was Vince Fish, right? That was his real name. But yeah, that would be interesting to bring him back, have Vince Fish be a big bad. I would, and I would like it in the sense of I need some answers from season 4 that we don't have, right? Like they left us in the dark with a lot of stuff. And I don't know if it's going to be wrapped up here, if they're going to be like, no, that's what it was. Okay, goodbye. Or they'll wait to another season or a last season to wrap up everything. I don't really know. That would be interesting to bring him back as a big bad and he's helping them and stuff. And I think that the other answer to that is like, that's why they keep bringing Howard back. Like every season you want to like predict that this guy is doing something nefarious. And the whole time he's not. So one of the two could be, if one of the two are the big bad, I'll say this, I'm not going to be mad at it. I'll be less mad if it's Howard, but I'm not going to be mad if it's Vince Fish, and that's why they're bringing him back. Let's see how he comes back into the season and what kind of a useful role he'll be for the crew. And our final comment comes again from Sherry 7054. I think Teddy killed Lester. Teddy had all those containers of jewelry and all those dead people. Yes, he's a jewelry thief, but how does he get access to all those bodies? Did he kill to get their money? He's my number 1 suspect. That's interesting because we did see him in this episode or in episode 2, but he wasn't like present now. Like I think he's still in jail, perhaps, so maybe he got out, maybe he escapes like Jan. I don't know. I would have believed this more if we saw him in episode 1 or 3. Like I'd have been like, "What the hell is he doing here?" Like that's strange. Um, we'll see if he comes back. I know that they just had him on the cast list, but I don't know for how many episodes. So if he doesn't come back, we know that he's not a suspect. If he does come back, and it's not just in the past, but it's in the present, I don't know. I'll put him on the suspect board for you, and we'll see how it shakes out. But y'all, those were all the comments I had. And, I love hearing from y'all. If you take the time to write it, I'll take the time to read it. I want to hear about your thoughts from this episode. Who are your suspects? Where are the clues? Some of the funniest moments? Let me know in the comments, or any theories that you're already thinking about storylines, like this is connected to that, is connected to the finger, is connected to this guy. I want to hear anything crazy wild. Nothing's off the table until we're at the end, right? So let me hear from y'all. I'd love to read your comments on the next episode. But for now, though, it is my favorite time. I say that with everything. I'm like, that's my favorite time. It's a clue. It's my favorite time. It's my favorite time with y'all is to do the suspect board, because I know that at home, as I'm moving people, you're like, move him here, move them there, move her here. It's fun. It's fun. I want to hear who your suspects are in the comments, and we can move people around too. But for now, my friends, we did it in season 4. Let's go to the season 5 suspect board. Okay, Nerdtectives, we have our suspects. Let's start moving some people. I think always the obvious is we know who it's not, right? We know it's not Oliver. We know it's not Charles. And we know it's not Mabel. Also, some of these photos may be, I would say outdated, but also some of them may be the celebrity photo, but we're just going to pretend it's the whoever the character is took pictures, and it doesn't look like something we've seen in the show. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We definitely know it's not Lester, so we'll put him in no way. I put him here because I want to say this. I have this theory that there's 2 killers. Actually, I just think this. I just think that there's 2 killers, and could be 3, maybe, but I for sure know that there's 2. There has to be 2, and I think that the killings of Lester and the killing of Nikki, I think they're completely isolated, and I think we have to be looking at 2 killers in isolated fashion. Perhaps they knew each other. Perhaps they're in cahoots. But I think they're working. One's working one, one's working the other. And I say this because, well, let's do this real quick. So we'll leave Lester right there. And I'm going to move to a suspect who's going to be one of my top suspects. And here's strictly the reason why. The cops are only going to work for 2 types of people so far in this particular universe, right? They're going to work for mobsters. They're going to work for people in office, right? Like that's what we know. There's now a 3rd suspect in my head. Like they could work with other cops, like, right? I think there was somebody in the last season who talked about oh God, what's her name? The freaking the cop that always helps them out. They said that she's left-handed. They said that she could have been, she's been around all 4 seasons. She'll probably be in this season. That she could have been the one. I can't think of her name. God, somebody's screaming it right now. Detective Williams, duh, Blake, duh, right? Cops would work with other cops. They could be working with Detective Williams. We haven't seen her yet, so I didn't include her on the suspect board yet. But that's just something I'm freestyling right now. We have to think outside the box. But thinking of what's inside of the box right now, the people that cops could work with, and it's either going to be mobster fellas, and the only mobster we know is Leone's Mrs. Cacciamilio, Sophia Cacciamilio. So I'm going to put her under highly suspicious for right now. And the other one that's a top suspect right now for me is the mayor, right? Political office, politically driven. He had cops behind him when he's taking pictures when he's about to take picture with Charles, right? Like, and he's asking him to be on the podcast. He has cops behind him. I noticed that at the funeral, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this guy can control cops. So these are the 2 people that can control cops that we've met. And the reason that I've already put him here and I put her there is because typically the way murder mysteries work is we meet the killer in the first third of the movie. We never meet the killer in act 2 or act 3 if it's a good murder mystery. Now there are like, somebody's shouting out, Friday 13th, or I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I think that that's where those fail as traditional murder mysteries and end up being more slashers. There is a whodunit aspect, but like traditional, the author wants you to solve it. The director wants you to solve it. The writer wants you to solve it. We meet our killer. And that's what Only Murders is. We meet our killer in the first third of the show. So latest we could meet them is next episode. But I think we've met them already, I'll be honest. Or at least we've met one, right? And I think one of them up here is highly suspicious. And the reason I was saying Lester, I believe him here, but the reason I want to have him here is because imagine a scenario where like he's a good guy, right? But he's got that little instrument. Maybe he I don't know, he does an incident that leads to something. Like maybe he didn't directly, like the only person he could kill is Nikki Cacciamilio, right? And like, I can't see Lester killing somebody, but he has, I don't know, he has blood on the front of his hat. Oh, this is interesting. He has blood on the front of his hat. So why would the blood be on the front of his hat if the back of his head got hit? That don't make no sense, right? The blood's not gonna, and his head's not gonna, his hat wasn't in the water. Where'd that blood come from that's on the front of his hat? It's, oh my God, that's not his blood. That's either the person who lost a finger's blood or that's Nikki Cacciamilio's blood. I'm not saying he killed them, but it could have, I don't know, it could have been in cahoots. That's why I have to include him on the board. I'm putting him at no way right now. But mark my words, if that blood comes up and it's not his, ooh, you heard it here first is all I'm saying. You heard it here first. So that's where we'll leave Lester for right now. Now we have our 3 billionaires, right? We'll put them here. We'll put them at maybe. I can't say that they're probably not, right? We have them all right here. Logan Lerman's character, Jay Flug, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, well, he's got to be it. But when we see the finger in the third episode, he's missing the finger. It's like a little half nut, like a little half nut. It's not, the whole finger is cut off, right? Like in the episode, like it's a full crooked, like the finger's full crooked. You know what I mean? Like down to here, down to the bottom. What is that? Mandible? I don't know what they call them bones. This bone's connected to that bone. I remember that song, but like the whole finger's cut off. Only part of his finger is missing, right? And maybe he was already missing. Maybe he's got an injury. I don't really know. But I know that that's not his finger, though. I know that much. So to assume that that's his finger without looking at the finger, unless they're going to get shit wrong in this season, like they did with the boot marks. Good God, the boot marks. Those were not. Boy, we figured out that there was too much distance. We figured out that last season was a mess, is what we figured out. But I'm gonna just already assume that's not his finger, though. But we're gonna put him at maybe because they got some secrets are going on, and they're probably connected to something. So far, I'm gonna move Vince Fish here. I know the last comment, like highly suspicious, whatever. I just want to see some action from him so far. Lorraine, I'm gonna put her at probably not until further notice, right? The wife, she seems to want to be helping. She seems to know that there's some answers in the ledger. Maybe she helped, she could have orchestrated killing Nikki. So we have to kind of, we're going to move her. We're going to move her to maybe because she could have helped in killing Nikki. And the reason is like the motivation is like when Lester's clearly like, hey, my wife wants to go out for our anniversary. It's Saturday. And Nikki's like, hell no. He shut that shit down real quick. But would she feel if she in her head's like, man, if Nikki's gone, I don't know, but is she killer? Would she, she would probably know a lot of Lester's secrets. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll put her there for right now. It's going to be probably not. Like we'll probably just move her down, to be quite honest. But I just want to stir the pot a little bit. This other guy is highly suspicious. Randall, the nude door guy. Oh no, he's a little played by Jermaine Fowler, who, if you don't know him, the biggest thing I saw him in was last year's Ricky Stenicki. Had like John Cena, Andrew Santino, Zac Efron, really, really funny movie. Some people might not find. I thought it was very funny. I thought it was a return to, it's a Fairly Brother movie. I thought it was a return to form with them, but he's in it, and it was cool to see him. I'm like, oh, I recognize that dude. But he's kind of a little sussy to me right now. And I don't think he'd kill Nikki. I don't think he would kill Nikki. And I'm like, I think even less he'd kill Lester. Like, he'd kill Nikki before he killed Lester. But like, how would he find out about all this? Why would he want to kill, Nikki if he kind of like, maybe let's pretend like he figures out that like Lester's getting money. And it's like, I want some money, because you know what? Lester figured out that his old boss, George, was getting money. What if he's like, I want some money? And like, he's like, well, if Lester's not here, then I get some money. But also, if he's already suspecting that Lester's going to retire, like, why wouldn't he just wait? But the whole I play upright bass, the whole band thing, like, that's going to come into play. I think they're going to be like, oh, remember he said that? And like, maybe those are big containers. You could maybe move a body in there. I don't know, again, if that comes up, you heard it here first. But there's so much going on with this guy but there's something, like when I saw Marshall last year and I was like, oh no, there's some a little weird about old homie. And guess what? We were right. So I also thought it was two killers, and it would have made more sense. So don't let me down. We'll put Loretta here. We probably not, I hope she don't get knocked off, but I know she'll be in the season. We haven't seen her yet, so we're including some people we haven't seen. And then there's Howard. Howard's always, he's probably not, but like Howard, just the way he looked at Lester, when Lester's like, and then you could have grandkids. And Howard's like, thank you, Lester. Like, shut up. Shut up, dude. We don't need any help over here. Is that enough to kill Lester? No, God, no. But I don't know. Like, he lingers, though. He's a lingerer. He got a lot of secrets, Is that enough to put him on highly suspicious or top suspect? No, I just want to know where a lot of people are putting him on their like suspect list because he's asking about shrimp, and then there's a finger in shrimp. Oh no, I think he's just so clueless. Like, he just cares about his freaking pets so much. He starts a podcast with his pets. Like, I don't think he gives a shit about a finger. Like, right? Like, oh, and that people will say, oh, that would be a great cover. Yeah, but like, I don't see it. I don't see that he's doing that for that. Count me wrong. Come back to this if I'm wrong, But he's got to be there. He's going to be in the maybe, because he knows a little. He probably knows a little. He's got to know a little something. Got to. I don't know. He's got to know. And then we have V. And just to stir things up, I'm going to move her to highly suspicious. And the reason is, so it's funny. Let's think back to everybody that's rented out that damn penthouse, right? It's bought it, right? It was, when it Sting, and then it was Amy Schumer, and then it was Ben Glenroy, and then it was the brother sisters. But nobody that's owned the penthouse has been responsible for killing. Like, the brother sisters were, they knew stuff. Ben Glenroy died, But why have a celebrity that's not a real celebrity unless you can have them be the killer? And why would she kill? Did we know why Marshall wanted to kill Saz last year at this point? No, we had no idea. I don't know if she's vicious enough to like stab somebody with a knife or to chase Lester. But she would, I think, she might could know if she hung around Mabel long enough. She might could know what that damn like the elevator crank does. I need to complete my thought. And I say that because whoever grabbed the elevator crank, clearly, I think that they knew. This is just me assuming, but I think they knew what it was and what it meant to the Arconia, or what it meant to Lester. So whoever knew it, whoever grabbed it, they didn't just grab it like it's a whatever thing. They grabbed it with a trash can or with a trash bag, right? And I think there's some sort of reverence put on that item that they knew about. So it's got to be somebody that knows some sort of history. So we have somebody that can control the cops, somebody that somebody else that can control the history, or that knows the history of the Arconia, at least enough to know Lester's story, or at least the upstairs portion, not the underground casino. We need somebody that has access to the freezer, right? to freeze Nick's body, because Nikki's body was in a freezer of some kind, and it has to be a big one. Somebody also has access to the kitchen to put the finger in the shrimp, unless it just got accidentally put there, right? It looked like it was like just placed there to sort of be like, nobody will ever spot this. So I don't know. Those are some things to consider, but I think all those things considered, there's not one person that comes to mind that could know all those things. Even if these two characters, Thee and even if Randall, have some sort of like back history, whatever, they're teaming up with somebody. There's somebody like neither one of them. I mean, Thee could maybe control the cop, but like what? Like celebrity controlling cop? Like what? Like I guess, but like, oh no, And as far as we know, doormen don't have that much power. So like to have control of the cops for them to plant bodies and find body, like that don't make no sense. Let's be practical. That's another job for somebody else, and somebody else has to be in on it. So yeah, that's what I got so far. Top suspect, Mayor Tillman. We've got Sophia Cacciamilio on highly suspicious, Randall highly suspicious, Dee highly suspicious. They could move. Like I'm not dead set. If I had to move two of them, I'd move Sophia and I'd move Dee. Right. But I want to let, until further notice, I'm going to leave Randall there because like, oh no, he just got a little vibe, and it could just be he's weird. And then I'm like, oh, are we moving to probably not next week? He having breakdowns in the closet and shit. It's kind of crazy. All the billionaires are staying where they're at. But if I had to move one, I would say that I would need to move Logan Lerman. And a second one, if I had to move a second one, like I'd move Renee Zellweger. That she would be my next guest in the billionaire bunch. But why? Whatever. We don't have motivation. We never have full motivation, right? Until like the final episode. So we can make all these theories and stuff, but we don't really know. But yeah, got all the billionaires there. Lorraine and Howard in the maybe, probably not. We have Loretta and we have Mr. Fish. And then, of course, in our bottom, no way, our trio. And we have Lester. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was our suspect board. Let me know how you think I rank the people. Let me know where you would rank our suspects currently. Did I get them right? Who would you move around? Who should be highly suspicious? Who's definitely no way? Let me know all about it in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. And maybe I'll take some of y'all's feedback like I did last year and sort of think about things, think through things, and definitely try to move people up and down according to what, we're thinking about, what the vibe is. But for right now, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I know this episode a little bit longer than the normal one. We'll come back to the shorter ones when it's just one episode that I'm having to talk about. But I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me, for staying with me, for just talking about a show that we all adore and love. And again, feel free to tell a friend who likes Only Murders to come check us out. We want to make new friends. We want to hear from you, obviously, in the comments. If you're not already doing it, hit subscribe, but you probably are. You're at least following us to keep up with the rest of this season. Also, while you're following us, feel free to follow the rest of our team, the Drunk Banthas. They do all the live content Mondays and Thursdays. Also, feel free to follow 9 Nerd Yards. It's a channel that we blossom from as a team to create this channel. And our buddy 9 is still making content here and there. And also, if you love murder mysteries, I would say that you should check out my new segment on this channel called Whiskey and a Mystery. I drop episodes every week. Essentially, we talk about a murder mystery movie, and I bring on a whiskey influencer from YouTube or Instagram, and they pair a whiskey with the movie. We talk about the whiskey a little bit too, but we really talk about the murder mystery aspect. We figure out some highs and lows, who our MVP is, all that good stuff. It's a hell of a time. So if you love murder mystery movies, we're doing all of that on Whiskey and a Mystery. So thank you for tuning in. I love interacting. I love being back to hang out with all of you. And as usual, whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this, I do appreciate you. And until next week's episode, I will see you. Peace.